to grab the points, keep in your mind any point, talk about section 2.1, any point, it's written like this. The first coordinate is for x, the second coordinate is for any point, okay? So if you look to the first point, what it says, 2 comma 1, 2 comma 3. 2 is for the x, 3 is for the y. So here is the x, positive x. This is the negative x, negative y, and positive y. Okay? So 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's the location for the point. Is that hard? Next point. Negative 4, 6. Negative 4, x is negative 4 to which side? Negative side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 6, up or down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The second point. Third point. 0 and 2.5. Where is the 0?
X.
The center. 2.5 is x or y? Y, so I have to go up. 1, 2, and here is 2.5. It's going to be between 2 and 3. It's 2.5. Is that okay? It's important. What about negative 3 over 4? I got this one. It's negative 3 over 4 with the 0. So actually still this side. But how are we going to put the location of negative 3 over 4? Okay, near 1, but no, give me the number. How are we going to do that? 0.75. That's mean divide 3 by 4. And that's 0.75. So it's going to be where? Going to be less than 1, right? Negative side. Is that okay? So divide the fraction. It's easier when it's decimal, but it's easier to graph it. Okay? What about square root of 2 with negative 2?
Use absolute or no? Or
No,
I don't know how to. I didn't know, so I just put 2.
no, it's going to be wrong. Be careful. So E, it says square root of 2 and 2. Square root of 2, how are you going to find it? No, you can divide it now. Go ahead. Plug it in the calculator.
Square root of 2.
How much?
It's square root of 2.
No.
Does it show you?
This is going to be square root of 2 because this calculator rounding the number. 1 point. So 1.4. But be careful with the calculator you got, it's rounding the number. So sometimes when you put square root of number, it's going to give you the same thing. Keep rounding the numbers. So with the root, kind
How
of,
would we do it? Like if we.
I think there is a way. We have to ask in the lab. There is a way to write down as a decimal. I don't know how, but we have to figure it out. I'm never using it. So 1.4, okay? 1.4 and negative 2. 1.4 is going to be from this side. It's like 1.4 and negative 2. Here's the 1.4 and negative 2 is going to be down. Okay. What about pi and negative 4? Pi and negative 4.
0.14.
Which one?
Like 3.14.
1.4.
The pi, how much the pi?
3.1.
3.14. So 1, 2, 3, and a little bit here. With negative 4. Okay, so far, just memory about how to graph the numbers, the points. And that's the important part we're going to start now. What says the next thing? Distance 4 minutes. What's that mean? It's a formula to find the distance between 2 points. So if we assume that we have 2 points, x1 and y1, and the other point is x2 and y2. Okay? This sign is being and. So you can see it, you will see it a lot when you do math. The distance formula between the distance between these 2 points equal what? Square root of what? X2 is unknown. You already have it? It's already written, right?
X2 minus
Minus x1, okay. X2 minus x1 squared plus y2. Okay. With this formula, the result always positive because it's a distance. There is no distance negative. Okay? So the result, if you get the result negative, that means you have something wrong. And these two squared is going to make sure everything here is positive, everything here is positive. Okay? Now, if you look to the examples that you have, find the distance between the points. The first point is what?
3.
And 4, right?
4.
-4, okay. The second point is
3.
3 and what?
0.
3, 0, okay. So here is the 2 points. You say, okay, which one I'm going to say x1, which one is I'm going to say x2? Don't worry about that. Write down the 2 points and assume that this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. That's it. Don't worry about which one. If you switch it, it's going to be the same result. You switch the points, not to switch the coordinates. Okay? So I'm going to plug in these. This formula. Square root of x2 3 minus x1 negative 3 squared. Okay? See, be careful. There is negative, this negative sign with the formula. And x1 by itself is what? Negative 3. So you have to be careful. So it's going to be negative times negative is positive. Okay? So be careful. Plus y2 is
0.
minus y1
Negative 4.
Is that okay? So the distance equal is going to be 3 plus 4 plus 3 squared plus 0 plus what? 4 squared. That means the distance of square root of 6 squared, which is what? 36 plus what? 16.
I have a question.
Yes.
The second step where you have x1 and y1. Yeah, how did you? Where are you getting that from?
This one, I just assume it.
Oh,
Like, so I can use the formula. I'm gonna say this is the first point, this is the second point.
okay, that's what you're gonna call
I'm
it.
just gonna say x1, y1, x2, y2.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Skip that step.
It's not a step. I'm just saying that this is, I'm gonna say x1, y. So I'm not gonna confuse myself when I'm a plug-in. Okay? So I always say x1, y1, x2, y2. And go ahead and plug it in the formula. Is that okay?
Yes.
Now 36 plus 16,
52.
how much? How much?
52.
82?
50.
52. So what's the square root of 52? And how we plug in the calculator. No, don't tell me decimals.
Wait, why did you put the square root around it? Oh, it's still in there. Okay. Never mind.
So, so 52 divided by 2, 5 divided by 2, 2. The left is 1. 12 divided by 2, 6. 26, right? 26 divided by 2, 13. 13 prime divided only by 13. 1. That's it. So what's the square root? Every two numbers as 1, right? And keep this one under the root. It's going to be 2 square root of. Okay. Number 4, find the distance between these 2 points. We're going to do, by the way, you can plug in everything in the calculator. Yes or no? X1, Y1. X2, Y2. You have to be careful. Secret, not anymore because we're recording video. So the distance formula is going to be what? Square root of 2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. That means the distance is going to be x2 negative square root over 3 minus x1 is minus parentheses negative 6 square root over 3. Okay? Have to be careful. Negative sign with the formula, and x1 is negative. Plus another number, which is y2, 2 square root of 6 minus y1 square root of 6. How are we going to simplify this one?
Can we take out the square roots?
Before that, this is a plus, right here? This is going to be, it's going to be negative square root of 3 plus 6 square root of 3 squared. Plus, here is going to be 2 square root of 6 minus square root of 6 squared. Let's go back here. Because I know you have a problem with adding roots. 3x, we did that, I remember. That's 5x equal what? Okay? Add in the number here. The same thing with the root. 3 square root of 6 plus 8 square root of 6 equal what? 11 square root of 6. Have it? So now, can we do this one here? We are lucky. We have the same root. So I can do that. But if you have 3 square root of 5 plus 2 square root of 6, can you add it? No, because this is 5 and 6. Have to get the same root and the same number so we can add it. Now here, how much is going to be? It's going to be square root of 6 minus 1, 5. So to be 5 square root of 3 squared. Is that okay? Yes or no? Lost? Plus. Can I do the same thing here? 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1. So you just square root of distance equal. It's the square root. 5 squared, 25. Square root of 3 squared, 3. 5 times 25 times 3, 35. Square root of 6 squared, 6. Add these together. Square root of 81. What's the square root of 81? It's 9. You got it? Line on the points to get the rectangles. I'm gonna put the rectangles like this. This is point A, B, C. I just flip it, okay? It's not gonna make sense, but I need to show you it's a right triangle. So when you put connection between these points, it should be a right triangle, okay? Now, what they're asking you, prove that it's a right triangle. So we need to prove that, okay? That means I need to find the distance from here to here. I need to find the distance from here to here. And I need to find the distance from here to here. And I'm going to show you how to prove that. Okay. First of all, we're going to divide the work. The distance between A and B, okay, equal. And the distance between B and C, and the distance between A and C. Go ahead, work on it. Use the same formula. Put these 2 points, put x1, y1, x2, y2. Go ahead, find the result here. And the same thing here, and the same thing here. Using the distance formula. So you have to practice before you're doing the test. Because small mistakes, everything's going to be wrong. I didn't took the square root for each one because there's a purpose of doing that. So now we got these, the distance between the points. How are we gonna prove that this is a right triangle? Think about that. Think about that. We did the same thing.
Square plus b squared is c squared.
Perfect. Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared, it should be equal b squared.
It does.
Okay, but we don't have a squared, b squared. I'm gonna assume that this is the A, this is the B, and this is the C, okay? You got it? To match it with the triangle. So A squared, that's mean the distance between A and B. So it's going to be what? 32 squared plus B is going to be the distance between B and C. So it's going to be square root of 18 squared. It should be equal what? This one is going to be 32 plus 18 equal what? Is that right? That's it. We proved that this is a right triangle. That's it for this question. I'm just hearing midpoint formula. No, midpoint.
Find the center, the half,
The distance between 2 points, we're going to find a point in the middle between the 2 points. All right, here's an example. First of all,
it's like the same thing between B and C, it's just gonna be 9.
BC. Here, it's going to be 9.
Square root.
No. Wait. So what's the formula? If you see the formula, it says x1 plus x2 divided by what?
2.
2. And it says y1 plus y2 divided by 2. This is the midpoint formula. Midpoint, they call it, it's a middle point. It's a middle point. So now, give me the points for the example. They give you what?
Negative 1.8.
1.8?
Yes.
Let's start with easy example. One of these points here.
-2 and 1.
and 1. Another point is
2.
2 and 5. And 5, not 5. Oh, you choose C. Okay. I choose C. It's fine. So now we know this is A, and this point is what? B. So if I apply the midpoint formula, I have the point A and the point B. The new point is going to be the middle point between A and B, okay? And again, don't confuse yourself. Same thing, this is x1, y1, and this is x2, y2. Apply the midpoint formula, x1 plus x2, which is -2 plus 2. Divide by 2. Another one for the graph, for these 2 points, it's not going to make sense, but it's fine. With the graph, if you check it, it's going to match exactly the point, because I told you I didn't graph it exactly the same. So here is going to be 0. Anyway, y1 plus y2,
Plus 5.
1 plus 5 divided by 2. That's mean 0 divided by 2, 0. 0 divided by 2. How is going to be 1? Plus 5 is going to be 6. Divided by 2 is 3. So 0, 3, check on the graph you have. Not this one. The graph you have. Go to the point 0, 3. It's going to be in the middle between A and B.
Yes.
That's why it's the middle point. You got it? Is that hard? Kind of? You use this formula. You do the circle. You're going to use Pythagorean formula and the distance. Okay?